Check this out. Y'all remember that new stablecoin, that OpenUSD, what I call the opcoin. The one that announced over 140 companies were joining this stablecoin ecosystem. I told y'all right then, Circle had a problem. Now let me unpack that for you. When that announcement came out, the market wasn't just looking at another stablecoin. The market was looking at competition. It was looking at more than 140 companies coming together behind another stablecoin ecosystem. And investors started asking themselves, what happens if businesses have another major option besides USDC? Now, remember what happened. Circle stopped, sold off. It recovered some, but let's not ignore what happened. For the first time, investors had to price in the possibility that Circle wasn't going to have the stablecoin lane all to itself anymore. And that's healthy. Competition forces companies to innovate. Competition forces companies to build. Competition forces companies to earn customers instead of assuming they'll keep them. Here's what most people miss. While everybody on social media was arguing over whether OpenUSD was bigger, better, or going to replace USDC, Circle wasn't arguing. They closed their mouths. Circle began building, and now Circle has announced ARC, and with it came names that should immediately get your attention. Visa, Mastercard, and BlackRock. That's when I stopped looking at stable coins and started looking at what they were building, because I don't think this announcement is really about another blockchain. I think it's about who's trying to build the roads for the next generation of finance. But before you understand why those names matter, you gotta understand what Circle actually announced. Circle just dropped Visa, Mastercard, and BlackRock into one announcement, and I think most people completely miss why that's important. Most people hear those names and immediately think, oh, Circle got another partnership. Family. That's not the story. The story is how they're participating. Circle announced these companies as founding validators for ARC. Now, if you're new, you're probably thinking, Marcus, what in the world is a validator? And I'm going to say, good question. Think about an airport. Anybody could buy a plane ticket. Anybody could fly. But the passengers don't keep the airport running. The control tower does. Air traffic control keeps planes from crashing into each other. The runaway crews make sure planes can safely land. The maintenance crews keeps everything operating. Without that infrastructure, the airport doesn't work. That's the role validators play on the blockchain. They're part of the system that helps verify transactions, maintain the network, and keep everything operating the way it's supposed to. Now think about who's volunteering to help build that infrastructure. Visa, Mastercard, BlackRock. These are no small crypto startups hoping somebody notices them. No, these are some of the biggest financial companies on earth choosing to dedicate resources to blockchain infrastructure. And once I realized that, I stopped asking whether Circle was competing with OpenUSD. I found out something new. I started asking a much bigger question. Why are trillion-dollar financial companies suddenly racing to help build the rails that stablecoins run on? Here's the part that everybody missing. Just check this out. I think most people are looking at this story completely backwards. Everybody keep asking, which stablecoin is going to win? I don't think that's the biggest question anymore. The biggest question is, who's building the infrastructure that everybody else is going to use? Think about the internet. Most people remember Google. Most people remember Facebook. Most people remember Amazon. But before any of those companies became giants, somebody had to build the fiber, the data centers, the servers, and the networking equipment that made the internet possible. Infrastructure usually gets built before mass adoption. And I think that's exactly what we're watching happen in crypto. A few weeks ago, OpenUSD announced an ecosystem backed by more than 140 companies. Now, Circle comes back with ARC and announces founding validators that include Visa, Mastercard, and BlackRock. Whether ARC wins or OpenUSD wins isn't the point. The point is that $1 billion and $1 trillion company are spending money to build blockchain infrastructure. Corporations don't spend millions of dollars hiring engineers, compliance teams, and developers because they think something has no future. They build because they believe people are eventually going to use it. Now, here's where this gets even more interesting. I want y'all to notice something. For years, everybody kept asking, when are institutions coming into crypto? Family. I think we passed that stage. Now they're deciding which rails they're going to help build. Look at the pattern. Visa launches its stablecoin platform. OpenUSD, they're launching a stablecoin ecosystem with over 140 companies. Now Circle launches ARC with Visa, Mastercard, and BlackRock as founding validators. These aren't identical projects, but they're all pointing in the same direction. The biggest financial companies in the world aren't treating blockchain like an experiment anymore. They're investing time, engineers, legal teams, and infrastructure into it. That's a completely different level of commitment. See? Announcements come and go. Press releases, they gonna come and go. Hype comes and goes. Infrastructure, they usually stay because that's the foundation. That's why I keep telling y'all, don't just watch prices. Don't just watch logos. Watch where these companies are putting their money, because money usually leaves clues long before the headlines catch up. Here's what I want y'all to take away from this. I'm not telling you Circle wins. I'm not telling you OpenUSD loses. I'm not telling you to run out and buy Circle stock. That's not what this video is about. This video is about learning how to think. A few weeks ago, everybody was arguing about OpenUSD. Today, everybody's talking about Circle. 6 months from now, there will probably be another company making headlines. Don't get distracted by every new announcement. Ask a better question. What are they building? Who's helping build it? Why are they spending billions of dollars on it? Those questions usually tell you more than the price chart, because markets, they move on emotion. The infrastructure, the foundation, it gets built on long-term planning. And when companies like Visa, Mastercard, and BlackRock start committing resources to blockchain infrastructure, I pay attention. Not because I think they're always right, but because companies that size don't make billion-dollar decisions based on what's trending that week. They make them based on where they believe the world is going. That's why I always tell y'all, stop chasing every headline. Start following the builders, because in the long run, the people building the roads usually have a pretty good idea where the road is headed.